Hello students, welcome back to the chemistry class. So today we are starting with the unit number 17, as you can see on your screens, and this unit belongs to the chapter, a very important chapter of organic chemistry, that is organic compounds containing oxygen. Okay, and this chapter, this category of organic chemistry is very essential for JEE Mains and advanced syllabus, because in this unit we'll discuss alcohol, everything about alcohol, phenol and ethers. Okay, so this chapter going to be very important for you. Our lecture will be beneficial for you, I guarantee. But one condition, there is one condition, you need to pay attention properly. Okay, so this lecture will be completely dependent on a very unique and very summarized form of chapter. As you can see here, this flow chart will discuss the whole chapter with the help of this flowchart. It's a very unique and very simple flowchart. You must refer this. Okay, let me zoom out for you to show the complete flowchart. 1 second, please. Yeah. So as you can see here, so this how beautifully the whole chapter is designed in a simple flowchart. It's very impressive, and you should prefer this, right? As I told you earlier, this chapter, the name of this chapter is alcohol, phenol and ether. Firstly, we'll discuss the simple definition. I'll tell you the simple definition of alcohol, phenol and ethers, why, how can we differentiate all of them. After that, we'll discuss structure and functions functional groups, the first topic. Second topic is nomenclature. Third topic is classification. Then we'll discuss preparation for alcohol, phenol and ether. After that, we'll discuss some properties of alcohol, phenol as well as for ether. And during the preparation of properties of alcohol, we'll discuss commercially important alcohols also. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's begin. So first of all, let me zoom in again, because I need the proper visibility, okay, for me, for you also. Now first of all, before moving on to the flow chart, let me tell you some definitions. I will not give you the complex definition. This is my first key rule. In my class, I don't prefer the complex definitions because it is very confusing for the students, and they will not memorize those definitions. If they can memorize those definitions, then why they refer teachers? They can refer books only. Okay, so my responsibility is to make complex definitions in a simple way. Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you the definition or concept of alcohol. If you have a compound of carbon, then those compounds are called hydrocarbon, because if you have compound of carbon, then definitely you will also observe the atoms of hydrogen also. Hydrogen, right? So if any compound made by carbon and hydrogen, then it is called what? Hydrocarbon. So if any hydrocarbon is connected with OH functional group, listen carefully, if any hydrocarbon is connected with OH functional group, then it is called alcohol. I'm giving you some examples. Suppose CH3OH. CH3 is a hydrocarbon. This is called methyl group, methyl, and OH is connected, then it should be your methyl alcohol, or simply we can say methanol. Similarly, CH3 CH2OH, this is called ethanol. Okay, so if OH is connected with any hydrocarbon, this hydrocarbon should be aliphatic. It's very important, aliphatic. Now what is the meaning of aliphatic? In a simple way, benzene ring must be absent. Most of the time, if benzene ring is absent and if OH is connected with carbon, then those kind of compounds are called alcohol. Okay, now what is phenol? Listen carefully. What is phenol? If benzene directly connects with OH group, I can write the definition also. Benzene ring directly attached with OH group, then it is called phenol. No exceptions, no doubt. Example time. Draw the benzene and attach OH, phenol. Okay, now third one is your ether. Do you know the formula of water? If you don't know, drink water firstly. The formula of water is H2O, and if we open the structure of H2O, two hydrogen atoms are connected with single oxygen. Now you can ask from me, what is the relevance of this H2O with ether? Is it an ether? It is not an ether. Why? But the relevance of H2O is direct with ether. Why? If we remove this hydrogen with carbon group, then those compound will known as ethers. How? I have removed both the hydrogens, but I have added 2 CH3. Then CH3O CH3. This is called ether. And what is the name of this ether? This is dimethyl ether. Simple. Okay, and in organic chemistry, all type of carbon or carbon species can be referred as R, referred with the R. R stands for alkyl group. So the normal formula of ether should be ROR. Okay, so I hope all the definitions are simple and it is clear to you, because if you understand these three definitions, then the whole flowchart will be easier for you. I guarantee you. How? Let's move on to the flowchart. Okay, now first of all, we are discussing, yes, structure of functional group. Now, in this topic, what flowchart is saying? First point, oxygen of OH group is attached to C, or C means carbon, nothing else. Carbon by a sigma bond formed by the overlap of sp3 orbital of C with a sp3 orbital of oxygen. This is a very simple thing. I'll explain it to you. They are making things very complex. Now, suppose we have carbon. We can observe two kind of carbons. Number one, carbon having sp3 hybridization and carbon having sp2 hybridization. If we have sp3 carbon and OH is attached with this sp3 carbon, then this should be your alcohol. But OH is connected with sp2 hybridized carbon, of benzene, then it should be your phenol. Simple thing. Okay. So I hope this point is clear to you. Second, in ethers, tetrahedral arrangement for 4 electron pairs. Tetrahedral arrangement, we can say the structure of ether is look like this: R O R 1 2. So if we observe the tetrahedral structure, something like this, or in the center atom is oxygen, R lone pair and lone pair. Yes, tetrahedral structure is observed, and this is, statement is true. Okay, now let's move on to the second topic, that is called nomenclature. How can we name all the structures or all the compounds of alcohol, phenol and ethers? And this nomenclature system is called IUPAC system. You have to understand or learn IUPAC thoroughly, because if you skip IUPAC, it means you are skipping a very important part of chemistry. Okay, so please don't skip it. Okay, for alcohols, common name: alkyl group plus all, methane or methyl plus all, right? And IUPAC naming: substituting E of alkane with suffix all, methyl plus all, methanol, ethyl plus all, ethanol, propanol, butanol, etc., etc., etc. Okay, for phenols, term ortho, meta, para are used. Okay, I'll show it to you. Let me show you the ortho, para position. Sorry. So suppose we have phenol. This is phenol, and if we are attaching CH3 here, this is called methyl phenol, and this is called ortho position. This is ortho, and this is para, and both of them are metas. So if CH3 is attached here, ortho methyl phenol. If CH3 attached here, meta methyl phenol. But if CH3 attached here, para methyl phenol. Okay, so ortho para is used in that way. But IUPAC, dihydroxy derivatives H121314 benzene diol. Suppose 2 OH is present in the adjacent carbon of benzene, then they are called 1,2 benzene diol. Okay, in IUPAC we don't have to use ortho, meta, para. This is a system of common naming. Now in ethers, common naming: alkyl group or aryl group in alphabetical order followed by ether, like dimethyl ether, diethyl ether, ethyl methyl ether, ethyl propyl ether. All of things are given in NCERT, so please refer that. IUPAC naming: in alkyl aryl group, E replaced by oxy followed by parent hydrocarbon, methoxy. Suppose I have CH3O CH3. This group is called methane plus oxy, methoxy, and mother chain is for 1 carbon, so methoxy methane, methoxymethane, ethoxymethane. Okay, methoxyethane, propoxymethane, sorry, methoxypropane, something like this. Okay, so you have to practice of IUPAC nomenclature. It's very interesting, very simple. Okay, and this chapter belongs to the class 11, you know that. So nomenclature is completed. Now we are moving to the classification. How can we classify alcohol and phenols? So generally, alcohol and phenol is classified on the basis of number of OH group. If one OH is present, it should be mono. 2 is present, di. 3 is present, tri. and if more than 3 is present, then it is called polyhydric alcohol or phenol, right? Yes, one more thing. If OH is connected with only one carbon, if OH is connected with that carbon which is also connected with single carbon, then it is called 1 degree or primary carbon. But if OH is connected with carbon having attached with 2 different carbon atoms, then it is called secondary or 2 degree alcohol. But if OH is connected with carbon having 3 different with attachment with 3 different carbon atoms, then it is called 3 degree or tertiary alcohol. So this is an additional type of classification which we can learn from our sites: primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay. As for sp3, sp2 vinyl alcohol. This is vinyl. If OH is connected with sp2 carbon, then it is called vinyl alcohol. Remember that. Okay. For ethers, simple and symmetrical, alkyl or aryl attached to O2 are same. It's very simple. O, CH3, CH3. All the carbon species are same which are attached with single oxygen. This is called simple or symmetrical. In mixed, both carbon should be different, or we can say must be different. So O, CH3, C2, H5. So CH3 and C2H5 both are different. CH3 is called methyl group and C2H5 is called ethyl group. Okay, so two groups are different. Okay, so we have discussed the classification also. So we have completed these 3 subtopics. Let us discuss some preparation methods, which is very important. Yes. Now, firstly, we are discussing alcohol. How can we prepare alcohol? Everyone's favorite. Okay, but the alcohol is very dangerous. We have to dilute before consumption, before consuming the alcohol, right? Now we have 3 basic methods, or we can say 3 fundamental methods for preparing alcohol. From alkenes are double bonded hydrocarbons. If we react, the first method is acid catalyzed hydration. We have to react alkene with acidic water, then we can obtain the alcohol. Okay. By hydroboration oxidation, if we have alkene, complex alkene, or we can say or bigger alkene, we can react it with diborane. The formula of diborane is B2S6, which can be written like this. Okay, so whenever we react the given complex alkene with diborane in the presence of peroxide and base, we can obtain primary alcohol only. Primary alcohol in these different ways, different steps. Okay. Second is from carbonyl compounds. What do you mean by carbonyl compounds? Carbonyl compounds means aldehyde or ketone. If you have aldehyde or ketone, then these compounds are categorized into the group of carbonyls, and the specific feature of carbonyl is C double bond O. So if you have C double bond O, then we can name it as carbonyl compounds. Okay. If hydrogen is present, aldehyde. If both the bonds are connected with carbon only, it is called ketone. Okay. Now, if we have carbonyl, this is aldehyde, right? So if we have aldehyde, then we can perform the reduction process by reduction of aldehyde and ketones. If we reduce the aldehyde, we can obtain the primary alcohol, but if we reduce the ketone, we can obtain the secondary alcohol. This is the very important point. If you are reducing the aldehyde, you will get primary alcohol 1 degree, and if you are reducing the ketone, you will get secondary alcohol, or we can say 2 degree. Listen carefully, the reducing agent should be H2PD, hydrogen and palladium metal in case of aldehyde. But if you are taking ketone, you have to take NaBH4, sodium borohydride, sodium borohydride. Write down the name NaBH4, sodium borohydride. Now, second, reduction of carboxylic acids and esters. So, do you know the formula of carboxylic acid? The formula of carboxylic acid is COOH. COOH. So, if we have COOH in any compound, then it is called carboxylic acid. So, if we have carboxylic acid, then we have to react this carboxylic acid with alcohol itself. Alcohol itself in the presence of acid, then we can obtain ester. RCOOR is the formula of ester. So we can obtain the ester, and after the small, or we can say reduction with H2 gas and catalyst, we can obtain a primary different alcohol with additional carbon. Okay. Third method is from Grignard reagent. Grignard was a scientist. Its full name is Victor Grignard, and he made a unique compound called Grignard reagent. And the formula of Grignard reagent is RMgX. He made the reagent with the help of magnesium metal, and this is called alkyl magnesium halide. The name of Grignard reagent is alkyl magnesium halide, right? So if we are studying Grignard reagent, then we have to learn this formula. We have to remember the formula, that is alkyl magnesium halide. Okay. Now, if we have the Grignard reagent, then we can easily form the alcohol with the help of aldehyde or ketones. Okay. Suppose we can say favorite question for examiner. If you have benzene, you have to connect single carbon which is already connected with two separate carbon atoms. This is called cumene. Okay, and to balance the valency, we can put hydrogen here. So this is called cumene. So firstly, you have to react cumene with oxygen gas. After the oxygen gas, it will give you cumene peroxide. Please write down the name of this compound, cumene peroxide. Okay, and whenever we do acidic hydrolysis of cumene peroxide, we can obtain phenol. Okay, along with CH3COCH3, which is called acetone. So please write down these names. These names are very important. If you recall these names in the examination, you can solve more questions in accurate manner. So we have discussed preparation of alcohol, preparation of phenol. Now preparation of ether. So where is ether? Yes, we have only two methods for preparation of ether, in which second method is very important because it is a name reaction. Okay, first one is by dehydration of alcohols. If we remove water from alcohol, that alcohol will convert itself into ether. So what we have to do, we have to take firstly alcohol along with sulfuric acid, and we have to provide this temperature, that is 413 413 Kelvin temperature. Then we can easily obtain the ether. Okay, second method is very important because it is a name reaction method, Williamson synthesis. A scientist called Williamson gave the method for preparation of ether, in which we have to take alkyl halide, and this alkyl halide should be react with sodium alkoxide. The formula of sodium alkoxide is written here, RONA, where you know that R is carbon species. So when carbon species connected with ONA, there it is called sodium alkoxide. Okay, whenever alkyl halide reacts with sodium alkoxide, it will give you ether, ROR, along with NaX. And by this you can also prepare the aromatic ethers. Take phenol, react it with sodium hydroxide, you will get sodium phenoxide. Please write down the name here, sodium phenoxide. And this sodium phenoxide will again react with alkyl halide RX, and you will get aromatic ether. Okay, it's a very simple thing you have to remember from your side. Now we have completed the preparation of alcohol, phenol, and ether. Now two alcohols are very important, which can be we are using in a commercial manner. Commercially it is very useful. Number one, methanol, which is called wood spirit, and number two, ethanol. Do you ever heard the name Chota Pack? That Chota Pack is made by ethanol, right? Many brands were there. So the composition of those brands and liquor, we can say liquor, is made by ethanol only. This is the only member of alcohol which is consumable, we can say that. Now methanol is called wood spirit. It is used as solvent in paints, varnishes, and making formaldehydes. It is also used in rockets as a rocket fuel for creating thrust. Okay, ethanol is used as solvent in paint industry and preparation of number of carbon compounds. And the secondary thing is used as a liquor as well as in medicinal industry for making anesthetic substances. Okay, so please remember these two names. Next one is properties. After the preparation, what are the important properties of alcohol, phenol and ethers? So let us discuss in a very quick manner. First of all, we are discussing the properties of alcohols. Now, first of all, we are discussing the physical properties. If we observe the alcohol, the boiling point increases with increasing the number of carbon atoms. Suppose, let me give you some example. If we have CH3OH, if we have CH3 CH2OH, if we have CH3 CH2 CH2OH, so we have three different alcohols here. Number one is methanol having one carbon, number two is ethanol having two carbon, number three is propanol having three carbons. So as the number of carbon increases, boiling point also increases. This is a fact. So you have to remember this, right? So we can say that if we arrange all of three compounds on the basis of increasing boiling point, then we can say the boiling point of propanol is more than ethanol and more than methanol. Okay, so boiling point increases with increasing number of carbon atom. It is true. Number two, solubility decreases with increase in size of alkyl aryl groups. Alcohols having small size of alkyl and aryl groups are more soluble in water. For example, ethanol. Ethanol is highly soluble in water, highly soluble due to the formation of intermolecular H bonding. Let me tell you how. So please pay attention to the screen. Suppose we have CH3 CH2OH. This is the structure of open structure of ethanol. I am dissolving this ethanol in water. Water is look like this, and I am drawing again molecule of ethanol, CH2CH3. Now see, whenever we pour ethanol in water, this kind of bonding is happened. How? Two ethanol molecule combines with single molecule of water like this. That's why ethanol or ethanol like alcohols are easily soluble in water molecule, because the partial or temporary bond formed between oxygen and hydrogen is called intermolecular H hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So due to the presence of intermolecular hydrogen bonding, alcohols are soluble in water. So I hope this concept is clear to you. Now, so these two properties are generally basic, or we can say very important, essential for the examination purposes, which is that's why they are mentioned in the flow chart. Now, chemical properties. Alcohols are highly reactive towards the active metals of S block like sodium, potassium, rubidium, etc., and produces hydrogen gas along with sodium alkoxide salt. And if we observe the acidity of all the alcohols, primary alcohol shows more acidity than secondary than tertiary. Primary means 1 degree, secondary means 2 degree, tertiary means 3 degree, you know that. Similarly, alcohols easily react with carboxylic acids, and when alcohols react with carboxylic acid, they forms what? Esters, and that's why this process is called esterification. Esterification. What is the meaning of esterification? The meaning of esterification is formation of ester. Formation of ester. Okay. Alcohols can also react with hydrogen halides. What do you mean by hydrogen halide? Hydrogen halides means HCl, HBr, HI, etc. These are called HX. So whenever alcohols react with hydrogen halides, they forms alkyl halide along with water. Okay. If you are reacting alcohol with sulfuric acid in the presence of high temperature, approximately 443 Kelvin, those alcohol will convert itself into alkene because you are dehydrating the alcohol. And what is the meaning of dehydration? Removal of water. Please remember that. Please note that in your notebook, in your notes copy. If you are reacting alcohol with strong acid in the presence of high temperature, you are performing dehydration process. Dehydration also found in our body, and in the condition of dehydration, the body loses the water molecules or water content. Okay. Similarly, if you are providing strong acid in the presence of high temperature to the alcohol, it will release its H2O and forms alkene, double bonded hydrocarbon, as you can see here, and water is removed. If you have alcohol and if you are performing oxidation process in the presence of strong oxidizing agents like KMnO4, K2Cr2O7, Cr2O4, Cr2O3, H2SO4, then due to the oxidation process, alcohol firstly convert itself into aldehyde, and after that it convert itself into ketone. Okay, so these things are very simple, very easy. If you recall one or two times, you'll be easily recall all of them. Okay, so all of these the properties of alcohols. Let us discuss the properties of phenol. Now, first of all, the physical property. If we observe the physical property, generally they are colorless liquids and sometimes solid if number of carbon increases. Okay, and slightly soluble in water because benzene ring inhibits the solubility in water. Chemical properties. Chemical properties are very important because phenol can react with dilute HNO3, concentrated HNO3, bromine water in the presence of carbon disulfide catalyst, excess of bromine water, zinc metal, as well as sodium dichromate, acidified sodium dichromate. Very important. If we are using dilute HNO3 nitric acid, we can obtain orthonitrophenol, paranitrophenol. Note down these names, or you can also refer from your NCERT book. Everything is given in the NCERT book, so don't be tensed. If you are reading your NCERT book thoroughly, you will be successful in chemistry. It's my guarantee in your JEE mains as well JEE advanced, because all the questions are directly linked with the NCERT. Directly, you can check the previous year questions. So if you are reacting phenol with dilute HNO3 nitric acid, ortho and para nitrophenol will be formed. But if you are reacting phenol with concentrated HNO3 nitric acid, you will be obtain only one product. It is called picric acid. This name is very important. It is called picric acid, and the IUPAC name of this compound is 2,4,6 trinitrophenol, and the common name is picric acid. If you are reacting bromine water along with carbon disulfide, ortho and para bromophenol can be formed. But if you are reacting the phenol with excess of bromine water, this is called excess, more than limit, you'll find 2 3 4, sorry, so 2,4,6, not 2,3,4, my mistake, 2,4,6 tribromophenol. It's a complex heavy molecule. But if you are reacting phenol with zinc, it will, listen, it will perform reduction and your phenol will convert itself into benzene and zinc oxide will remove. This is a reduction process. Okay. You can also perform oxidation along with reduction. You have to take sodium dichromate, or we can say acidified sodium dichromate, because acidified sodium dichromate act as an oxidizing agent and it converts phenol into, very important name, will tell me what is the name, that is benzoquinone. The name of this compound is benzoquinone. You can check it from the NCERT book. Okay, so these reactions are very important for phenol. If you observe the previous year questions, many questions were asked from this topic only. So it's very important. Please remember that, recall that. Apart from this, two reactions are very important because these reactions are named reactions, and not only in JEE Mains but also in JEE Advance, you can observe the question from Kolbe's reaction, as I mentioned here, and Riemer-Tiemann reaction. In Kolbe reaction, phenol can be converted into carboxylic acid, or we can say benzoic acid. Okay, this is called derivative of phenol, benzoic acid. What we have to do here? Firstly, we have to react this phenol with sodium hydroxide, which gives us sodium phenoxide. I have also mentioned this name in the earlier videos. This is sodium phenoxide. This sodium phenoxide firstly reacts with carbon dioxide, and secondly it reacts with acid and it converts itself into benzoic acid, orthohydroxybenzoic acid, or we can say 2-hydroxybenzoic acid. So phenol is converting itself into acid. This is possible through Kolbe's reaction only. Very important. Again, next named reaction is RTR, Riemer-Tiemann reaction. Riemer and Tiemann both were the scientists who proposed this reaction, and according to this reaction we can easily convert this phenol into aldehyde. If we want to convert phenol into acid, prefer the Kolbe's reaction. But if we want to convert phenol into aldehyde, then we have to take the mechanism or process of Riemer-Tiemann reaction. Okay, so firstly what we have to do, we have to react this phenol with the mixture of chloroform and aqueous NaOH mixture. The formula of chloroform is CHCl3, you know that. So you have to react this phenol with the mixture of chloroform and NaOH, and after the reaction you can obtain this kind of product. This is H. This is an intermediate, very highly unstable, and further more processes we can obtain aldehyde containing sodium phenoxide, and a little bit of acid, or we can say H plus ions, will convert this aldehyde containing sodium phenoxide into 2-hydroxybenzaldehyde. The name of this compound is 2-hydroxy. Please write down this name, benzaldehyde. Please do not watch this video like a film, like a movie or film, because you will, if you are watching the video like a film, it means you are not intaking anything. Okay, but if you are watching this lecture or any lecture along with a pen and copy, and you are noting down your important things, it means you are intaking. And this kind of study is called discipline study, and many toppers also preferring this strategy. So please do that and be a topper. Okay, so we have discussed the chemical properties and physical properties of phenol also, and all the reactions of phenol are very important. Please refer that, please recall them, please write down regularly all the reactions, because after writing several times, you can easily recall these kind of reactions. These are very easy. They look like a tough reactions, but very easy reactions these are. Next, moving on to the properties of ether. Firstly, we'll discuss some physical properties. If we observe the physical property of ether, CO bonds are polar. In a compound, any atom contains electron density will be represented as delta negative, or we can say partial negative. So if it is a partial negative atom, then other atom should be partial positive. Yes or no? Completely yes. Thank you. So if a molecule is exhibiting partial negative or partial positive at the same time, then these kind of molecules are called polar molecules. Okay, in polar molecules, partial negative and partial positive charges are visible, and this kind of molecules are called polar molecules. If partial negative, partial positive charges are absent, you are unable to see or unable to watch those charges, then you can consider them as non-polar molecules. Okay, any doubts? Okay. Now second point is rather boiling points comparable to those of alkanes. The boiling point of ethers are very low. I'll tell you. Generally, the boiling point of ether, suppose I have an example of CH3OCH3. This is called dimethyl ether. I have told you earlier, okay, in the nomenclature section. So this is a dimethyl ether. The boiling point of dimethyl ether is only 17 degrees centigrade, below room temperature. That's why if you by mistake spill the ether, it will evaporate instantly. It will vaporize instantly because its boiling point is lower than room temperature. Room temperature is approximately how much? 25 to 27 degrees centigrade, if I am not wrong. So room temperature is 25, minimum room temperature is 25, but the boiling point of ether is 17 degree below room temperature. So obviously it will evaporate instantly. Okay. And the ether also dissolves in water like alcohols. Okay, so this is a very simple thing, you have to remember that. Next, moving on to the chemical properties, very important topic. Ethers easily react with hydrogen halides, HX, which can be categorized as HCl, HBr, HI, etc. Whenever ether reacts with HX, they will form alcohol. Primary alcohol, to be precise, primary alcohol along with alkyl halide. So many questions has been asked previously. Whenever ether reacts with HCl, which kind of compounds can be possible? So two compounds are possible. One of them should be primary alcohol and one of them should be alkyl halide. So you have to remember this point from your side. But as I told you earlier, ethers can also be aromatic like this. And I have to tell you one thing. If you have aromatic ether, it means if OCH3 is connected with benzene ring, then this is called, the IUPAC name is methoxybenzene. But the common name is most famous apart from the IUPAC name, that is anisole. So if benzene is connected with OCH3 group, then it is called anisole, and to be precise, the IUPAC name is methoxybenzene because OCH3 is referred as methoxy group. Okay, so whenever aromatic ether, which is called anisole, reacts with bromine water along with ethanoic acid, you can obtain the para-bromoanisole as well as orthobromoanisole. These names are very important. You should write down in your notes, or you can refer from the NCERT book. Please don't forget it. So whenever bromine water reacts with aromatic ether in the presence of ethanoic acid is acetic acid sorry, then it is called para-bromoanisole and orthobromoanisole. But if you are reacting anisole with the mixture of sulfuric acid and nitric acid, as you can see here, you will be obtained para-nitroanisole and orthonitroanisole, and para-nitroanisole will be prominent approximately 75%, and here para-bromoanisole will be prominent approximately 75%, and 25 will be your ortho compound. Okay, now a very important reaction you can observe from your ether section, that is Friedel-Crafts reaction. Friedel and Kraft, both of them are two different scientists, Friedel and Kraft, and they have proposed many reactions, and one of them you can see on your screens. They told us if we can convert anisole into methyl substituted compound as well as ketonic compounds. Okay, suppose if anisole is reacting with methyl chloride CH3Cl in the presence of anhydrous AlCl3 and CH2. So in the presence of anhydrous AlCl3, methyl chloride reacts with anisole and methyl group attacks on ortho and para position. So after the reaction, you can obtain orthomethylanisole and paramethylanisole, where para should be prominent or will be the major compound approximately with 75% yield. Okay, similarly, if you are reacting this anisole or aromatic ether with acyl halide, this is called acyl halide या फिर acyl chloride, acyl halide or acyl chloride in the presence of again anhydrous AlCl3. So if you are reacting this anisole with acyl halide or acyl chloride, acyl group, that is CH3CO, acyl group, we can see ethanoyl group, right? So ethanoyl, I'm writing here, ethanol. This ethanol group, sorry, I'm writing ethanol, sorry, ethanol, yes. So this ethanol group will be your attacking species, and this will attack on ortho position as well as para position, where para position will be your major compound, like this, ortho and para. This is para, approximately 75%. Okay, and if you observe this reaction, observe this compound, you can open this like this, open this compound like it, benzene, OCS3, this is C double bond O, CS3. Okay, this is called para methoxy acetophenone. The name of this compound is para methoxy acetophenone. So I am writing the name. Please note down in your notebooks. I am requesting to you, please note down it. I think this name is also, yes, this name is not mentioned in NCERT also, so please note it down. Para methoxy acetophenone, and this is your ketonic group. Okay, so I hope whatever I taught you today was understandable for you, and definitely it will be beneficial for your JEE syllabus, JEE preparation, because I have honestly taught you today, and I have covered all the important things, all the important reactions, all the important key facts which is important for this chapter with this lecture, and I hope you will find this lecture beneficial for you. Okay, so we have completed all of them. Let me scan this once more. Oh, yes, we have covered it. Okay, so we have covered all of them. I never left any topic. Yes. Okay, so enough for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'm requesting one more thing to you. Please refer previous year questions in your NCERT book. Firstly, complete your NCERT book along with the back exercise questions. Do solve all the questions, and once you complete your chapter, please solve all the questions of respective chapter from the PYQ question paper. Please buy one PYQ book of unsolved or solved, whatever your preference, but solve all the previous year questions for your JEE. If you want to select, if you want to score high, if you want to take rank in JEE syllabus, JEE examination, you have to practice more and more questions of previous year. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, and I hope this lecture will be beneficial for you. We'll meet in next lecture. Thank you so much.